Right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for staying here until today and this time. I do apologize. I'm very nervous, so please bear with it. Also, I'm not that kind of metal fan person. I'm more from the pagan spectrum of a scale. So. It will be shown in the presentation. Also, I'm not that academical, more popularization kind of person again. And again, it will be shown in the presentation. And I do apologize for the length because I actually don't know how long it'll take. So, yeah. Shift from metal to paganism, study of one tribe. We can begin with the definition of pagan or paganism. What is paganism, neo-paganism? That's a question. It can be some kind of pre-Christian paganism or reconstruction of pre-Christian paganism, contemporary practices or religion practices or something else. Well, you can ask 10 people about paganism or pagan, and 10 people will answer you differently, totally differently. So, I'd like to say that our work with the term paganism that has somehow connection with nature, it's mostly religion. And we can also, again, talk about if it's anthropomorphism, animalistic beliefs, if it's polytheism. That's totally up to one's person's beliefs. It has connection to spirituality, some kind of tradition, ancestry beliefs, and also most pagan people talk that it's somehow inherent to us. It's not something we'll like know from the school or something, but it's something we are born with. So yeah. You can see actually a cover of one of the most famous pagan band called Omnia. The album is called Pagan Folk, and you can see some pagan motifs in it. So we can go around. I stole this graph from the previous speaker. The graph shows foreign pagan bands in Czech Republic, which are listened to. You can see that one of the most listened pagan and actually also metal band is Eluveitie or Korpiklani, and I will be speaking about one of the mentioned bands later on. So yeah. Pagan metal is something like a bridge between pagan or paganism and metal as a music genre. Sometimes it's called folk metal. There are many subgenres such as Viking metal and so on. Again, it's totally up to the band's the band's naming. One of the main connecting points is showing of nature, mythology, some kind of anti-Christianity can be included. They are trying to preserve aspects of one's culture, history, traditions, and then it depends on from what part of the world the band is, of course. Also, in most pagan metal bands is usage of local folk instruments, some harps, and so on. For example, Slovak bands use usually fujara, which is kind of Slovak flute. Also, there are many varieties of used languages. If it's English, if it's Czech, if it's Slovak, if it's some kind of different language, again, it's very, 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 very different. Well, as I said, every band works with the concept of pagan or paganism differently. Some bands are actually, the members define themselves as pagans, some not. Some just steal motifs, some like work more deeper with the motifs and with history and so on. So we can talk about it later, but whatever. Also, one of the main connection is also yearning for some kind of pagan past, like kind of romantic view of past as how to say, as an utopia maybe, compared to Christian era or contemporary era. And so I'll be focusing now on one of the key members of actually pagan music scene. His name is Einar Selvik, which has kind of very, very interesting history of his life. He's a Norwegian musician and composer, and his path can be described as a shift from metal to paganism. Firstly, or not firstly, but he's famous as a member of Gorgoroth band, which was previously mentioned here in other lectures. Also, as was mentioned before, Gorgoroth is a name from Tolkien's universe, and we will be speaking about it a bit later on. He was a member of Gorgoroth from 2000 to 2004, and he described this era as, this band as some kind of malcommunications, that the communication in the band didn't work. They couldn't talk together, only in pairs, and they were strong individualities in the band. So he decided to focus on Nordic spirituality, researching of ancient history and so on. And this actually somehow shaped his own attitude toward his life. Now he describes himself as as an animistic point of view of world. And oh, sorry, I have a mistake in this presentation, whatever. Well, in 2003, he founded a band called Vardruna, which heavily which has a huge influence of runes and rune symbolism, and he tries to create music where explore and use selection of the oldest instruments, musical traditions, and he mainly says that he's not creating something, he's not trying to recreate music, but he's trying to create something new using something old, which are the musical instruments and language and so on. Vardruna or other projects of Einar Selvik, which is sometimes called Kvitrav, and I apologize for the pronunciation, is mostly known in popular culture because of their background music in the TV series called Vikings, or even in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they composed a soundtrack. I think most of the people here and online somehow know how Gorgoroth sounds, but I'm not quite sure if you know how Vardruna sounds. So I'd like to play one of their songs called Helvegen. In other words, I think that's enough for some kind of view. Can you help me? Oh, here it is. Sorry, thank you. Moving on from the world scene to our local Czech scene, I'd like to talk about Jeden kmen, one tribe, which was firstly, group of people who went to fantasy battles dressed as orcs, and they decided to do an art project that depicted one of the orcs, Uruki, or tribe, and the tribe's name was Snaga. It was from the point of view of an explorer who is a guest of this Uruki, and he describes and learns about the rituals of the tribe, the customs, their everyday lives. It was firstly mentioned. They firstly thought about it as some kind of exhibition, but somehow it became huge, and they decided to make CD called Mlha, Mist, which was firstly only like background music, but somehow people liked it, and so they just released it as a separate CD. Here are some pictures of Uruki, Snaga. This is taken from the exhibition, which was in Castle Spielberg, I think 2017. This is also a picture from Spielberg, and somehow they are quite funny people. Again, I will play another music. Or maybe not. Well, I think that's enough because we don't have time. As I said, they found out they work quite well as a band. So their second project was totally different from the first one. They just how to say. Totally completely abandoned Tolkien's world and the fantasy, and they made album called Basuň, which was written in Interslavic, which is how to say artificial language. It's similar to Esperanto, but it's designed for Slavic speakers so that they can understand each other. At first, there was a story, actually fairy tale, which was written by one of the members. The story is called About the Lost Winter, and it's about a young girl who sets out to free Mrs. Winter from three sun brothers, and in doing so, save all life in the whole planet. There are elements of hard work, rewards, and journey of growing up, and so on. Basuň means fairy tale. And the whole album has many Slavic motifs and kind of. Well, Ctibor, the main member, said, "I didn't want to write about the great Nordic religions. I wanted to create an environment that was close to us, that referred to our local history and beliefs." So. This is the picture from their concert, and again. Right, on focus, one of the main members of one tribe is Skrik, who was very helpful and agreed to an interview for which I am once again thanked. She has a degree from Linguistic and Scandinavian Studies. She's interested in Scandinavian mythology. Also, she had a few academic lectures about trolls and Scandinavian witchcraft. She considers herself as metal fan, that's why I'm here talking about her. This era started around the age of 15. During the interviews, she specifically mentioned bands like Fintroll and Moonspell, which she said about the Moonspell, she said it's a bit of a different cauldron. The last word may suggest another thing about her. She defines herself as a witch. And she deliberately didn't mention in what sense witch, because she likes the diversity of this word. She's very eclectic about paganism. She believes in somehow undescribed supernatural power. She's mostly influenced by Scandinavian mythology. And about her practice of paganism in everyday life, I can mention her work with runes and their philosophy, as well as natural materials such as bones or even blood. She also practices yoga and uses tarot cards as a form of revealing knowledge, tapping into the subconsciousness. Skrik specifically also mentioned her interest in chaos magic. Images are courtesy of her archive. So, to conclude, is there a connection or somehow, well, metamorphosis or evolution from metal to paganism? I don't think so. It's better to say that metal, so as paganism and even fantasy, are words that are somehow close to each other. And some people balance between these two worlds and call it pagan metal. Some choose either one, some choose only some parts from both or from other worlds. I would say that in some way Einar Selvik and Skrik's lives are a bit similar, mainly in their evolution from metal to paganism as religion and their beliefs. Compared to Einar Selvik, I think Skrik is more interesting in academic point of view of paganism. And that's all. Thank you for your attention and welcome.